My mic on? Well, I have to ask that. This is Ginger Cook. This is Acrylic Painting Monday with Ginger Cook and John Little, and we're having a blast already today. We want to invite you to our party. So, you know, I don't know what the party is, but we're having it. Like I said, we're having a good time, and sometimes he does forget to turn my mic on.
Hey.
So, if you were with us for our surprise YouTube show Friday, we introduced you to some fabulous paintings besides teaching you how to paint this really cool green vase and a glass vase with green leaves and white flowers, really pretty. So you'll want to check that out. We'll talk more about that painting that we did last week later in the show about how you can win that 9x12. You can enter to win. How's that? Yeah. And today we're going to be doing an 8x10 painting. It's fall, so we want to continue on with some of our fall theme. And this I think you're going to get easily. It's the trick. We'll talk about some tricks you need to know to do a landscape, and things that maybe look complicated, but once we unravel it for you, kind of unlock the secrets a little bit, you're going to find pretty easy. So let's give a shout out to our moderators.
Lady Liz, Lady Liz 2, Luann, Steffi.
Hello. Hey, Steffi, Luann, Lady Liz too. Yeah, well, it's just now the time to start.
Yeah. Mona.
Hey, Mona, hi. Wow. Wow, hey, Mona, it's late. You got to appreciate the guys that are showing up from, like Mona, across the world from us. Maybe we're across the world from them. I guess it depends on where you're sitting, doesn't it? But anyway, it's way late in the night. And she's staying up, so hanging in there. And our UK friends, we want to thank that. And Lorraine from Malta. And because I know she'll set her alarm and wake up to watch our show, which is kind of neat, And of course, we've got our Canadian friends. And I want to say hi to them, and a lot of Canadian pals, and of course Australia. We don't want to forget Australia. I mean, we're in India. I hope maybe Janany's watching today, or at least she'll catch it later. And clear into Haiti. Maybe Andrew will drop by later. And honestly, I can't name you all, but thanks for coming and being with us regularly. And I think you're really gonna love what we're gonna paint. John, if you will. Let's just come on down to the canvas here. This is a 8x10 canvas, and you can see that it's just got a blue coat of ultramarine blue on it that's dried. And I've done something called the grid. We've talked about grids before, and some people, the minute you bring out a ruler, they just run screaming out of the room. No ruler, no ruler. But honestly, the trick is divide it in half again, both sides, and then so you can see that with the lines, and then you just put whatever's in each square.
Simple as that. Piece of cake.
It's just really, and if you have one little piece of the maybe the picture you're doing that seems really complicated in the square, then make more squares in that one. You don't have to do them all. Just maybe divide that one in half again, or maybe just do like a slanted angle between corner to corner, just so you kind of understand the placement. It gets really simple. That's how large murals are done on walls. They grid the whole wall, and everybody has their piece of the square that they paint on. You'll see groups of people coming out, groups of artists come out, and they'll all be with their paint, and 20 people, but they'll make the same. They'll finish a painting because they're all doing their little squares. So we're going to do that. This is a scene. It's sort of interesting. It's from, this is Georgia, Russia. And
at least that's what we believe it is.
We think that's where it is. And I thought it was neat because we're going to it's gone a little past the bright colors, but we're going to put them back because I don't care. We're artists, not historians. Okay?
We already have a photograph.
So we're going to go ahead and just lightly sketch in the hill here, and I'm going to show you something kind of interesting. Let's do this. Let's do this, because if you number the squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the hardest part for me, doing the numbers. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I can't even see that one. Where's my white pencil? Here. 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, everybody's with me on that? This was 8. You can't see this. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so those are our numbers, and you can do that up here too. Just number your squares, and then you won't get lost. Maybe you wouldn't anyway. I get lost really easy. Just numbering the squares seems to be a big challenge for me. So I'm sure you're already ahead of the game if you can number the squares. 14, 15, 16. All right, so we got the squares. So in number 4, between 4 and 3, we've just got a little bit of a mountain coming up like that, and it's about halfway up here. But look, if it's not exact, who's going to know, right? Not like it's a place we regularly travel. There's another little peak here. And then kind of over here in square 2, just down about up here to 6, there's a little bit of a peak. You know what it isn't? It's not a sawtooth mountain. It's not going zoop, 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 right?
That's how they do it in cartoons.
That's how they do it in cartoons. And there's a tendency when people do mountains, they start doing that. So like in square 6, we've got another little face of a mountain coming up here down, and it just kind of catches in the middle of this and comes down to like a tree line. Then from this 8's really easy. It's just a mountain cuts in half like that. And then there's like a little bit of a dark ridge here. All right, now you got to admit this is pretty easy. Now from here in square 10, that would be this one. You've got...
Mona's with us because they changed their clocks ahead of ours. We haven't changed our clocks yet. So we're on an hour earlier than usual.
Oh. All right, so here's this, let's just do this right here. Here's our church. This beautiful old church. This has got to be really old here. And let's just do that and put the sides down like this. Okay, and let's see, it comes about like that. Okay. And there, honestly, there's not a lot of anything else to do here. Back here, that's it. You don't put the branches in or anything. You just, this is where your church is going, and straight down from the middle of it, it was is where the first arch window goes. We've got another one here and another one here. So it's really, I mean, that's about as simple as it gets, isn't it? You're going, not really, Ginger, but it is. Okay, so there's the roof there, kind of slanting down like that on this side. That's all you see. And then for some reason you see it on this side. And then this goes all the way down here like that, all the way off the canvas here. Like that. There we go. Well, boy, can't beat that. There you go. Yes and yes. And oh yeah, yeah, that one's, yeah, the vase, and then also the yeah, that one, yeah, with the vase. So put that away. John wanted to know what we painted last week. He went and got it. And of course the one before is in the auction that we did that Monday of last week. We put in the auction. So if you're wondering what auction, well, we have an auction going on my air conditioner auction. John and I usually use the auctions this time of year to replace new equipment. That's why we always have it this. But unfortunately, because of a huge expense, it goes to $4,500 worth of new air conditioner that had to go in the studio
right before winter.
Right before winter, but had to go in because it gets hot in Houston, and most people would need an air conditioner till March. We're just glad we even could get one.
Well, yeah, from what the guy was saying, had last one in existence in their warehouse.
Yeah. So there's, yeah. So anyway, what's kind of got the, like you heard in the last picture show, that was sort of the last air conditioner, right? So
yeah, last air conditioner. Sure.
Anyway, if you remember, we did this painting last Monday with the Old Dead Artist, and that's also in our auction. You haven't had a chance, and we'll show more of the auction pictures and some great stuff coming up in the Academy. I'm so excited. I'm going to show Santa right away. You guys want to see what's coming up in the Academy in a few weeks? Yes? Yeah? Yes? Okay, if you do so, I want to see some likes. I'm going to show you.
How
John's
you
going to
gonna
back
do
way
likes?
out.
Yeah, wait a minute. We only have 130. We're not going to show it until 150 likes minimum.
Okay. All right.
And you guys have got to see it.
Yeah, wait
I'm
till you see
telling
it.
you.
Wait till you see what's coming up, because this is probably one of our best ones we've done. And,
Oh, I don't know. I like the one
think
before that we
last
did.
year was pretty good too, though.
Yeah, I like that
So
one.
I like last year with the guy
So if you
Santa
want to see
holding the
what's coming
lantern.
up and you want to see it,
Yeah.
press that like button.
All right.
Come on, people, you can do it.
In the paint I have is just some leftover from all the different colors, but the ones I always use. I've got some white paint here, and then I've got a little ultramarine blue.
We already had 158.
All right, have we? Well, let me just go ahead and put the.
What took you so long? All right, we're gonna go for 200 now. Come on.
I want to go ahead and put this is ultramarine blue and white, and I want to put a little bit of that's your sky color. It goes right over the dark blue, and that because there's a bit of translucency, I mean, it's not totally opaque. All right, let me put it that way. Even though titanium white is more opaque than most whites, sometimes you need 2 coats of white. And so by doing this, you're gonna get to see a little bit of this blue showing through, which is going to slightly color the sky differently than if I painted it if I painted this on a white canvas. I would have to make the sky a bit darker, but you see how you can see a little bit of this that coming through. And I want to take a little bit of, I want to just come up here like this with a little bit of blue going back and forth, and just put sort of some interest. It's in the photo too, so we just put something like that. All right,
reached 200.
We're at 200. Okay. All right, let me just put this down there.
Thank you.
You can see it.
Bribery works.
Yeah, look at this, because John is back way out. First off, I want you to see how wide the canvas is. Can you see that?
I can see that.
It's like,
it's huge.
Almost like not quite 4 fingers, like 3
Well,
fingers.
you said it was 3 fingers during the intro.
Well, it's 3 fingers. Yeah. Okay. So now he's backed out.
I am backed out.
So check this out, you guys.
Oh, I absolutely love that. Are you kidding me? Who did that?
Yeah, that's going to be our Christmas Academy release, and we're going to give it to both the Wave and Water and the
Oh, that's good to know.
And I just announced that Wave and Water and the This is Christmas, man. You got to Wave and Water and the purple, red,
this goes to the editing department. The editing department needs to know these things.
We haven't edited it yet, so you're okay. I told you. You guys get it. How neat is that, right? And of course, we'll have it as a downloadable, so that you'll be able, for those of you who want to just buy it as a as a downloadable lesson, you'll be able to do that too. But I think this is what I love, is big wide gallery wrapped canvas like this. See, you see how deep the frame is, and what's neat is, and it's all beveled. Can you see that, John? Can you see where it's beveled?
I can see it's beveled, yeah.
Yeah, see, it's beveled. These are really expensive canvases, but then you don't have the expense of a frame, and we've been saving this for something special. This is the kind of painting you can bring out every holiday, maybe give us a gift. I love the stars, and wait till you see the secret of doing the stars. So
this is a 12 by 24.
12 by 24, and it's in it. It'll be a couple of weeks before you see it, so you have time to get in a canvas if you need to. And
12 by 24, and that happens to be a 2 1/4 inch thick. They call it a museum wrap.
Museum wrap. All right, I think we got this at Jerry's.
No. Flip it over.
There's nothing written on it.
No name? Then it's probably Jerry's.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. I knew you'd like this. I thought you'd like it.
See, you're assuming they like it. Do you think anybody here says they like it?
I bet they did. How many people liked
everybody did.
Everybody liked it, right?
Yeah,
everybody liked it?
They loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, they loved it.
Well, see, that's important. That's
it is
good
important.
To know. And
we like to put out quality stuff.
And okay, so that's good to know.
Now,
yes.
Somebody asked a question in regards to the canvas. We used the Acrylic canvas board last week. How did we like it?
Well, loved it.
Well,
but not as much as
the normal ones.
Yeah,
it is a little rougher canvas.
Didn't like
it has quite a tooth on it, but it's better than cheapies. But I think we still like the
ones from Jerry's better. Yeah, the
other ones
Proton.
Yeah, the
ones.
Protons.
Like those better. John, we had 4 that John did underpaintings on, and 3 weren't even acceptable. We'll have to do them again. It is hard to paint on. But once that we got it done, it was it was fun.
Yeah.
So we're talking about, for those of you who want to know, this was Friday's painting, and that's the one that 9 by 12 that our viewers will have an opportunity to win if you enter at the correct times and with the correct secret words and all that stuff.
So
And here's the back of that.
The description of
Dick Blick panel.
Yeah.
And again, once I got it on there, it was fine.
Yeah, but it took several coats to really get it to be able to work.
Yeah. So I mean,
I think if you're going to underpaint it, you have to give a good at least 2 to 3 underpaintings.
Yeah.
Colors.
So all right. So my sky is still a little
scheduled
translucent. So I'm going to go ahead and take some white paint here with a tiny bit of yellow in it, like yellow oxide, but mostly white. I want to come up here like this, and I'm going to just, using the flat of my brush, I'm going to put in a few of these clouds back here like this, just because that's kind of, it's not totally white. If you had like an antique white, that would be good. Okay, we're going to put that up there. And then I want a little bit of zinc white, which I don't have any out, but I know where it is.
What color is your underpaint? Is that ultramarine blue?
Ultramarine blue, yeah.
Ultramarine blue. It's like
Ultramarine blue, and I said I knew where the zinc white was. Yeah, here it is. So I'm going to put a little. I want some of that.
Hey, we'd like to thank Joan for the donation that came in through PayPal, and also Catherine.
Oh, Catherine, thank you so much.
And
That's so
Joan.
nice, you guys.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much, and a lot of times you don't get to see who we scholarship because we try to keep it private. But some scholarships went out this month, and there was some
heart-wrenching ones.
Some heart-wrenching ones of people that just, found themselves out. They're out of work, and maybe have a hope of getting back soon. So here's some sort of ultramarine blue and phthalo green.
Great
and I'm going to come up here like that, and I want to, I don't need my, for my mountain, I want it dark, but there's, like I say, there's a little bit of light on my brush. I'm going to come back, just put my mountain back here like that. And I'm trying to get a little bit of texture with it when I do this. Okay, like that, and then just come up here like this and say, here's where this mountain's going back up this way. Yes and yes. You see how this is sort of disappearing. And then I'm going to get a little bit darker color here and come up on this mountain down here. We'll just do something like that with a little more of the phthalo green and blue.
Donna asked, is the blue membership going to get to Santa? Yes. Red, blue, and purple, apparently, unbeknownst to the editing staff. I should make a note of that somewhere, though.
Yeah, I just think that,
we try to do that on the holidays.
The holidays, because, All right, so we're going to do that. And then John, get ready to allow something for me to be able to dry. Let's take a little more.
Oh, well, I have absolutely nothing planned. Thank you.
Well, so that's why I say get ready.
Get ready.
All right, so I'm going to just come up here and kind of change these blues a little bit. Because I have to dry this.
Well, we have a drawing from Monday's show, last Monday's.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
You remember what video that was?
That was the Pissarro, or
that was the
Alfred Sicily. That was the Sicily one.
Yeah, Sicily.
Yeah, Sicily.
Got it right here.
Yeah, here's a little bit of this green color here. Okay. All right, so I want to get ready. So John's going to draw for the Salvador Paint set and the downloadable lesson. There you go. So make this a little bluer here. There you go. He's going to draw for that.
What were the secret words?
And then I want
Sicily and Salvador.
Well, he's looking. There was Salvador, and then there was another secret word. I think it was
Salvador and Sicily.
Sicily, yeah.
Yeah. I got it covered, boss. I'm in charge.
So while John's doing that, I'm going to dry this. Okay.
Sorry to ask again, but will there be any abstract styles coming up?
For YouTube or where? For YouTube or
the Academy.
Or the Academy. I inquiring minds want to know.
Inquiring minds want to know. Who asked that question? Was that Nicola?
Okay, I don't know. Let's I'm drawing this, and you guys tell me what you're thinking.
Okay. While we have her muted, we're going to do the drawing from this show, which is Sicily and Salvador Paint. Always in the description, you can find the rules. So, you know, underneath the video, scroll down and see the beginning of the description. Click to press the show more to get the rest of the details. All right. So we're going to get the URL. That's when you want to share it with people. Go to our YouTube random comment picker, paste that in there. Filter out duplicates, include the replies, and it's based on text. And we will do the Salvador kit first. Salvador kit, and spelling does count. Capitals do not, but spelling does count. And we get we have 64. You entered on that one. And we're going to randomly pick it right now before your very eyes. Cynthia McPherson. Yeah, Cynthia McPherson. Oh, do I have to? I had control of the show. Okay. So, Cynthia, if you're out there, or you have 10 days to notify us that you are the winner chicken dinner of the Salvador Paint Kit, and we will get it your way. Now I got to bring you back on the screen too.
All right, so we're coming back here to we've dried this.
Yeah,
now we're going to get out a palette knife, and we're going to do some, a little bit of palette knife snow. Okay.
The abstract is for YouTube.
Oh, you know what? We don't get any views on those things. Nobody watches them. You know, we haven't done a lot of abstracts on YouTube because we did a few. Nobody watches them. So it just hasn't, you know, we kind of have to have some views.
Yeah.
So probably not.
Can you purchase a downloadable without being a red, blue, or a purple member? Yes. You can any downloadable is available to anybody. You don't even have to be a member. We'd love to have you be a member, but you do not have to.
And if
you are a member, though, you do get a discount. Even the green guys get 5%. So even if you're not a member, sign up for the free account and get at least 5% off. I mean, a savings is a savings, in my opinion. So, yes. Did I miss any other questions?
Now, what I'm doing is I'm dragging the palette knife over the blue, very gently, holding it very flat. And that's where I'm getting the, see, then the dark of the snow kind of shows through. It's kind of a neat trick. You just, you know, you've got kind of a dark edge here. It's not completely white. I want a little bit more white than I've got there, probably. A little bit more white here. And you don't put too much on, barely touch it, and just drag it like somebody was sunburned. You can practice this a little bit. And remember, when you're doing something like a palette knife, you can always go back and add a brush, but this gives you that sort of mountain texture that's hard to get any other way. Like that. And like, for instance, like this side here, it's a little bit, if you look at the photo, it's a little bit, not quite so bright. It's a little bit browner here, so it's a little whiter than that. Okay, so we're going to say this is just, here's the ridge here, and we're just going to bring this down like that. There you go.
Next time you scoop some up on your palette knife, can you flip it over so the camera can see what you've got?
And then I'm going to put out a little bit more paint. I think I want just some phthalo blue, which I have somewhere. Oh, let's see, where would I put that? You got, oh, here it is. Okay. So this I want a little bit bluer. Phthalo blue is more of a turquoise blue. Ultramarine tends to be more literally a marine color of like the ocean, like Pacific Ocean. So I want some of this on this side here. We'll see a little bit darker than that. There you go. We're going to say, here's my, let's make this darker. Let's add a little bit of burgundy to that and darken that up. Here's this mountain right here coming down this way. And we'll put some of this like this going off here like that, and everything that stays kind of flat. So we've got these kind of neat mountains, and you didn't have to do much. And if you get, you get
really a light touch.
Yeah, it's just like somebody's sunburn, and you can see it. If I'm just barely touching it, and I'm going to say here's some mountain coming this way down this side.
Ginger mentioned Snagit in my pack today. Is that a free software, or do you have to pay for it?
It's like $40, but I use it almost every day. You could go in anywhere and snag any old stupid picture you see anywhere out of an ad. Doesn't matter.
Anything that's on your computer screen.
If it's on the computer, you can snag it.
What a name!
You can even go into videos and snag pictures. Like, for instance, you can watch a movie, for instance, on your computer, and maybe there's a really pretty scene, and you could just freeze frame that and snag it.
Gee, I wonder who's done that before.
I mean, that's how I did the Fireline picture. I just want a little bit more of this blue up in here.
If you do snagit.com, it will take you to it. It is worthwhile having, though.
Yeah. Now, here's some of the ultramarine blue. And see, the neat thing about doing something like this is you can kind of combine ultramarine blue and phthalo. And you can come back and you can, if you get too much something, you can put the rocks back. See, you can do that, put the rocks back. And yeah, I'll just put that away and move on with my brush. Because the thing of it is that once I can do that, I can say, well, I want to say that this is a ridge right here, more of a ridge, like coming down from this one. So I can add some, you can take your brush in and, do a few little corrections, or like right behind here, I want to say that there's a bit of a ridge here coming up this way. And so I can then come back with a little detail. Though drawing it first would be better than how I'm doing it, but that's all right. So let's put this little kind of blue-green color in here. See, I'm going to say this mountain here is coming down in front. All right. And that's a really nice way to get these mountains in. Now, I'm not sure I like even though it was in the picture, I don't like this peak here, even though it mimics the church. It's let's see, let's change it a bit. I know it was in the photo, so that was the mountain. Who cares? Just that was the mountain. Well, we don't care. We're going to change that a little bit and bring this up this way, so it's not such a peak like that. Let's just do something like that. Let's just change that shape. Be careful, really watch your shapes, because that's important. And I want to bring some light through this color too. Now, I'm going to just bring some of this, just barely touching it in here like that. And this comes up higher. I know what happened to you. You came up higher. I need to have you come up like this. There we go. That's a little better. So again, you can adjust. Guess that's what I'm saying, is you can adjust. And if I wanted to say there was a ridge up here, this is why these silly videos I get going take so long, is because I get involved in the minutia sometimes.
The minutia. Can you say that on YouTube? I don't think you can say that. That's probably gonna have to be beeped out.
All right, so that's all. Until that dries, that's all we can do with that. What could we do? Well, we could do Let's do the house church.
Hey, why don't we thank the people that send in donations?
Oh, that's a
Such
good idea.
as Julianne. Thank you, Miss Julianne. And also Cindy. And also Sally. Thank you,
Wow.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Love you for it. Speaking of PAX earlier, which is personal art coaching, we have got our personal art coaching new form back up and operational. So for those that are red, blue, or purple members, you can now get to the form, and we'll have it up on the menu here shortly. I didn't get to it before the show started, but it'll be up on the menu so you can access it.
Yeah, isn't that great? It took a while because apparently some people don't work weekends. Unbelievable.
I don't understand that. There's 7 days in a week, and I expect everybody to work all 7 of them.
Yeah, or don't keep the company open if they don't want to work themselves.
Yeah.
So we just can, and we had this software that we use for this.
It's marvelous.
It's
really
marvelous software that we are able to use for personal art coaching, but it's not made in the United States, and so
they have different hours.
They have different hours, and so
they don't seem to think that Saturday and Sunday is a work day.
No, they don't. That's extraordinary to me.
I don't understand that. I work Saturdays and Sundays for 100 years now.
Well, we do because we work all times because we have people from around the world. So you would think if you were a company that was selling a software to people from around the world that you might have somebody on duty that could answer the phones when those guys are still up. Just a thought. Just a thought. Not so. Not so.
Not so.
This is. I got to bring this down a little bit.
Lorraine's in the house.
Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, John. You always look great in a bright colored T-shirt as we can see you more. And I only do that because of you. You mentioned it, and I went the extra mile and
dug to your closet for bright. It's too though. I like that red T-shirt on you. She's absolutely right. I had to lower that a little bit.
You are changing the roof line.
Yeah, I had to do that, but look, it's so easy with acrylic paint. You can't really see already. It kind of looks mountainy, doesn't it? The little. Yeah. Now, I want to point out that in the background in the photo, there's some other stuff back here. But this is distracting from this because our center of interest is our church. And that one's not going in.
I knew you were going to leave that out.
That's got to go.
I knew that was gone.
That absolutely has to go because for that very reason. And, one thing you want to know, too, is that you want to know that when you're painting any kind of building, right under the roof line, it's always dark. Now, the trick is, see if you can avoid outlining it and just maybe bring a little color down so that, there's a problem. If you learn to draw first before you learn to paint, those of you who never drew, I actually probably find it a little easier to do this. This little magenta in here with something dark. I just need something dark under here. Those of you who have not had, you're less likely to want to outline than someone that, spent their childhood drawing things. And then discovered that when they paint, they still want to draw. So that's the problem when they're painting. Now, a T-square is one of those must-have toys, particularly if you want straight lines. So I want a straight line going up here, like here for this little house here. So I can just do something like this. Guess I keep calling it a house, but it isn't really a house. But they wanted that a straight line there. If you have trouble doing straight lines, get a T-square. Okay, so now, all right, so we got that. That's just raw umber and a little yellow oxide of these colors, just on this kind of like not a total white house.
Apparently, we have two Lorraines in the house.
Oh, okay.
So hello, Lorraine 2.
All right, Lorraine 2. Hello. Yes and yes.
I believe the color of your membership shows in your profile on the site. Yes, it does.
Yep.
If you go under the My Account Information, I think it's something like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Ginger's hair is looking wonderful today.
Oh, thank you. All right, so I'm going to come up here with a little zinc white.
I'm going to curl mine someday and see what you think.
I'll do it for you.
I figured I can't do it myself. I don't have a clue how to do that.
I'll do it. Let's see what happens. This, before we can do much for the, we want to put some clouds and stuff, but we can't do that yet until we got to dry this. But I could.
Well, you can dry because I still have to do the winner of the
Oh, okay.
What's the other winner getting?
All right. Well, I want to put a really dark green right in here, like this, in this area. It's a yellow and ultramarine blue, maybe.
Okay, put all that in first.
So let's put all that in a little bit of magenta in it. So I want something really dark and a green in here, like that. Just kind of do that. Kind of. It doesn't have to be covered all that great, but I want to make sure I have that. Kind of have it over here. And then we'll dry. Then I'll have everything dried that needs to be dried. Yes and yes.
That's a beautiful. Now there's your abstract.
Okay. So,
now wait. Wait. We're now drawing for the Sicily. What's the winner of the Sicily getting? I don't recall what you said.
I don't either, but I think it's a downloadable lesson. We know for sure it's a downloadable lesson. Yes.
What?
So I think so.
Downloadable lesson.
The downloadable lesson. So I think that what we're going to be. Oh, see, I don't have the picture here.
Oh, that doesn't mean I can't get up and run to the ends of the earth for you, my queen.
I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll let you pick the picture. We're going to give you a $50 downloadable credit for anything.
Oh, there you go. Let's do that.
Let's do that. $50.
That way they get what they want.
Then you pick what you want, okay?
Yeah. Okay, my queenness.
Then you could apply it towards something else that's over 50, and that'll be if you want to.
Yep. Okay, so you're muted. Okay, we're going to go back to our random picker. And now we're going to do the Sicily, which I believe is Sisley. Check that real quick. Sisley, yes it is. And we have 76 entries in there. Oh, let's do a refresh. I'm not sure what any of that is. So let's just start over here. Simple enough to do. Duplicate, include, comment. So if you want to enter our contest, all you have to do is look in the description. If you don't catch the live show, and see what you need to do. And the winner of the $50 certificate for a downloadable lesson is Donna Hoy.
Congratulations, Donna. Again, you have 10 days to contact us.
Okay. Now, would you like to try that again?
Congratulations, Donna. You have 10 days to contact us and let us know. Somebody asked, this is so funny because somebody wrote in our Facebook club, Acrylic Painting with Ginger Cook, on Facebook. That's free. I certainly hope you're all members of that. But, somebody wrote and said, well, how do you know if you won anything? Well, you've got to watch the video the following week or whenever we're doing the drawings for it. We don't have any way to contact you with your secret words. You have to contact us. All right.
There you go.
I'm going to take a little bit of zinc white now.
Thank you for all that participated in that particular giveaway.
Absolutely. I'm going to take a little zinc white now and define my...
Now this is fully dry, right?
Yeah, this is fully dry. And I'm going to come up here like this. Zinc white is your transparent white. And it makes for great kind of smoky clouds. Like we're going to come across here like this and suggest that, how there's always a kind of a layer of clouds that happen within the mountains. It just is. And zinc white is, it's just the way the atmosphere works, I guess. And I want this to be lighter here, back behind these guys. And I'm going to suggest that there's some clouds in here. Something behind this guy, too. Up here like that. So we sort of define it. And then I want to pull some in front of this mountain here. So just push that back a bit. And then up here at the top, we're going to do that too. We're going to add a little bit. Remember, we did it before. We're going to do it again. I'm going to come up here like this and just push those mountain peaks back a little bit into the distance. Let's just put a little of this up here, and well, you got to actually get some paint, okay? Just like that. So they're there, but they're not. You're just saying this is all here, but it isn't. Yeah. And just, there we go. The mountains aren't the subject, the church is, so we want to just suggest that there's something like this happening. There you go. So we sort of have this defined here. And I think I want to bring down the little bit of this mountain here. Let's bring this back here like that. Bring it in here. Okay, so there we go. So we put that hill back, and then you can have some stuff over it. I'll just tap it in there. Okay, so those are my clouds. And I want some zinc white, because that's your, really white, as opposed to, so I want to say that this is my peak here. So I'll make sure that we've got this up there like that. And so there's some kind of nice, it's a nice mountain ridge here. Let's pull this kind of blue here, and I want to say that there's my top line of my ridge.
Question in regards to entering the drawings. After the show, you leave a comment and preferably answer the question if we have a question. And then you put the hashtag in of whatever you are interested in participating in.
Yeah.
And this one, we have the hashtag of church, Salvador kit, and print. And Ginger will discuss the print in a little bit.
Yeah.
Something new and exciting.
Okay, so I want to say that there's I don't really want that there, but I'm going to say that there's just somewhere along here. I want to just pull this mountain back a little bit more, define it. See, I've got enough texture now. I can just drag my brush. I don't need to use a palette knife. Got enough texture now where I can do that, because you can drag your brush over the bumpy stuff. And there you go, right? So, all right. So now the next thing I want to do is take them, make a dark green, which is usually yellow oxide and ultramarine blue and maybe a little purple. And I want to say that there's some, I want to put some green trees up here like this. Just using my angle brush. So that's it. We're going to say there's some green trees here. Come on down in here like that. And say there's some green trees right like that. And keep it kind of simple, but there you go. We're going to say there's some green trees here too. Let's just put a few. Okay. So now you see suddenly we've pushed we've pushed all of this back. And I think I need to lighten this up here like this, bring this mountain up a little more here. Okay. So everybody's with me? Yes and yes. We have another drawing to do, or is that with those the two?
That's it. We did this with McQueenness.
Oh. Okay.
We weren't prepared to do anything else at that time.
All right. So now we get to play with fall, because we've got this. This is a little dark right here. This dark right there. So let's just tap over that. Too wet to do much.
Add a little bit more snow to it.
Just add a little bit more snow to the top of this ridge. Put it flat on my brush like this. Wipe most of it off. Just tap something on here like that. There you go. All right, so I didn't need it quite that bright. All right, so moving on.
This is an interesting comment.
What?
This is so much cooler than the photo.
Thank you.
Oh, wait till she's done.
Okay, so
you
now
haven't seen anything yet. She's just warming up.
Yeah, that's true. Warming up. So I find one of the easiest ways to paint windows. Let's just draw them in first, okay? Let's take the T-square and draw in the windows. So we know we've got one. Let's come straight down the middle of this church here. And let's just draw a line. And then, so the windows, well, it's really not straight. Let's come down. All right, I want a window right here like this. And then they're at an angle. If you look at this like this, follow the angle, then there's a shorter one Yes.
The drawing from Friday will not be done until after the auction.
Yeah, after the auction, we'll do the drawing on Friday. So they're at an angle. Do you see that? The two windows?
I do.
So then we're gonna do let's just do some burnt. Now if this were bigger, and I'm talking to those of you who do larger paintings, if this were bigger, you would want to tape these so you have to make sure your lines are straight. And that's not to say I still won't, but I've got a, well, there you go. And then I want this one like this. And that's just burnt sienna, okay? Like that, and just
kind of blocking it in.
Kind of blocking it in here, these windows. But you know, the ideal situation, of course, is to of course tape them so your lines are straight. Okay, and then here's a little brown under here on the eaves, and like that. Okay. Now I think that what happened here was we had a little bit. These windows are, well, again, we'll tape them, and there's nothing on here, so we're good there, right? We got the 3 windows in, and if I dry that, let's see if I tell you, I'm going to show you a really neat trick, okay? I'm going to make these bigger than they are. All right, this is for those of you who just feel challenged by windows, okay? All right, I'm going to make these a little bigger than they are and dry it. Just mute me for a second. Just bear with us, okay? Yeah?
Yeah, go ahead. All right, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us this evening. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please do so and hit that notification bell. Occasionally we go live off the cuff.
Yeah, boy, yeah. So then what you can do is you can take some narrow tape. Let's see, I think I think these are my 2 tapes. Yeah, this and this. Maybe I'll just do the narrow one. Could have done those a little wider. I can find the ends to this. There.
And we'd like to thank Anne Marie for the donation that came in through PayPal. Thank you, Miss Anne Marie.
Thank you, Anne. That's so nice. Thank you very much.
Anna Marie. She's been with us quite a while.
She has. Very nice artist, too. Okay. Now, see where I kind of did the tape here? Holding it tight like this, pulling it tight. Okay.
Holding it taut.
Yeah, you just sort of pull it. Try not to lose the end. I have to put my glasses on. I can't even see the end. I should be able to kind of feel it. Here we go. Now, here we go. This one. This one. This one. They're just not, I have to get them just kind of the width I want them, okay? All right.
Fine tuning.
Then you kind of squish them down with your fingernail or palette knife, right? Then you take the roof color, or the building color. Got a little green in it. Not quite this color. There you go. And you paint around. Just paint around that. See? Great trick, right? Then you have straight windows. You know, people always say you can't draw a straight line. You don't need a straight line.
As long as you have tape, you're good to go.
You've got tape, and then that's a little something. If you use a lot of tape, particularly if you're doing a lot of buildings and stuff, to put it in your wastebasket, it kind of clogs up and you can't get anything in there. If you wet the tape, then the glue releases and it goes nicely in your wastebasket. All right, so then I want the top of these windows to be rounded. I'll use a different brush for that. And so I'll just, because they're like a little arch, so I'll use a little brush and just do that. There we go, just something like this. See? And this is such a much easier way to do that than otherwise, yes? So you've got the windows, and in the meantime, other stuff is dried. So we're going to take a little bit of that zinc white again and wipe off the excess. I want to come in here like this and add a little layer of zinc white here in the clouds behind these trees. I know it's a lot, but we're doing it, okay? And then I want to make sure that we have the cloud layer here. Okay, so now next we're going to get into our, there's a lake back there. I don't know if there was or not, but I made one. In my mind, I decided there ought to be a lake. So I'll put a little raw umber in my blue here to gray it. And I'm going to say that right about back here along the shore, there's a lake. It's got to be kind of blue because it's winter, right?
Got to be.
I'm going to say that there's my lake, like this. You're not going to see a lot of it, but there it is. And there's a little bit of this. In the picture, there's a little blue here. There's a little bit of blue back up in here. We're not sure why, but there is. Okay, so that's, and then I want a little bit of kind of an olive green color. And put some brown with that. Red will gray green. So there's something along here where my lake might be. I'll just kind of thin that out. I want something a little darker here on the shoreline. So kind of maybe it's a rock or something. Whatever it is, we're not talking about much about it, okay? We're just suggesting there's something along the lake line because everything else is going to be a foliage, but we've kind of set the groundwork for that. And as long as I'm doing that, I'm going to take some almost a light white color and come down here on the inside of these. And follow the arch. There you go. There you go. Something like that. See, now we got a little depth to those windows. Yeah. Ooh, neat, right? Okay, so here comes the fun part. We're going to get out all the bright colors.
Ooh.
We're going to do with the cadmium orange, which is a fabulously good color. And we've got bright yellow. So we're in good shape. So let's put in our background trees. We want to start, let's see, we want some more of that. There's always a bit of burnt sienna, which is your reddish brown color. Okay. There's always going to be a bit of that. And let's see, do we have purple somewhere? Purple is something you'll see a lot in, see a lot of purple in fall paintings because there's purple in the leaves. Purple. Green. Well, red and blue make purple, so we'll just get along without it. I thought I had some in here, but it's all right. We'll just move along. There we go. Maybe that was purple. All right, here we go. So now we're going to say that we've got some purple. Now, I want some red just on my brush here, and I'm going to say that this is, just tap this in here like that. So I'm going to say this is my first layer of the fall leaves that are going to be in this painting. And it's going over something pretty dark, which is good. Because remember that the light's coming from the top, so if it's not just willy-nilly where you put the reds, okay? It just can't be that. It's got to be building it up. So the lights, so then I might put a little bit of, red and yellow. That's a cad red, medium, and yellow. And I might build it up one more time. This is pretty wet, so it's not going to build up as much as I want. Does that make sense? Because this is still pretty wet, but I can tap some of this in here like that. Okay, so that's where some of this is going to be. And I've got a little bit of that marigold color, which I'm just going to kind of tap on here like that. And just suggest that there's these beautiful bright colors. And I'm barely touching it.
Some great colors there already.
Yeah, just barely touching it. Every time you touch it, it's like you mix it in with what's below. So you have to be kind of careful. And maybe you're going to say, let's take some yellow here. I'm going to take some yellow, because remember, this is still pretty wet. So the brush shouldn't have any water on it. It should be very damp, dry brush. Good. All right, so there we go. So somewhere in here like that, that's going to be this. All right, now on this side, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come on up here like this with just the reds. We're going to start with the way up here, and we're going to do a few little dots of color for our leaves. Come way up over this mountain over here, like that, using just the corner of the brush. We're going very quickly. Dot, 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 like a little woodpecker going dot, 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 dot. Vary you don't want just a continuous line. You want to let it breathe a little bit, have some spaces in between where your branches might be going. But these are the very tops of those. And then as I go down further, I'm pushing harder. Definitely pushing harder. And then I'm going to put some darker green up in here, because I know I want something dark right in there. Okay. And then wipe the brush off, not rinsing. Now back to my reds. I'm going to come up on here like that, and above this green, and way up into here like this. We're covering up the mountains a little bit, but that's okay, because you're never quite sure what you're going to need and what you're not going to need. Doesn't hurt to put them in here like this. Okay, so we've got more of this color, just the darker reds. Then right by the roof, we want something bright. And we'll let some of this blue show through, but not that much. Okay, and then we're going to leave a space, like leave some of that dark, and start a new layer of plants. So that's sort of the shadow part of those plants. We're going to start a new layer. Make sure you have enough paint on the brush to do this. We're just doing in the reds first. Okay. And all into here like that. And then I'm going to go into some of our oranges. Like that, a little bit here. And some of this probably needs to dry a bit before I go too much further, but I want something kind of bright up in here. Something kind of bright over in here, and then certainly down here at the bottom by this building. I want it there like that. Let's see how we're bringing that together. Now with fall, because there's never just one color of anything, we take a little bit of that burnt sienna and maybe have a little bit of that color in there too. Perhaps we should put some orange with it, so it's not quite that. Burnt sienna and orange. Let's try that. Darker colors generally are underneath, so just a few dots, but don't lose all your greens. Then we want to do the same thing over here, except I want to keep more of the greens going here. So up on this side, we're not going to go up so far. We're going to start about here, and using this just sort of dark greens, we're going to tap in a few branches. Perhaps they've started to turn brown a bit more here in this one. On this side, this plant, maybe it's got colder over here or whatever, but we're going to say that this is our darker little branches here like that. And again, you're not going to see that much of that lake. We've just implied the lake. Then I want to come up with the yellow, and I want a really dark green in here with a little bit of yellow on my brush like that. Okay, something like that. So you see how we're starting to build up the colors? And you've got to build up, let's see, I'm going to put a little bit of lighter green up here. You start with the darker colors, they're the shadow colors underneath. And then you go for that, then you try to go for your reds and your brighter colors. Okay, you can come up and say, okay, I've got some brighter colors that maybe fall's starting to turn here. And as I'm dotting this just with the corner of this brush, Okay, like that. Okay, and I'm going to come back down in here like that. So now I want to do, we're going to dry this, but I want, well, this is kind of setting up so I can do another color. Oh, so come all the way over here like that. All right, so we got to let that sit for a second. Yes and yes. And so what else could we do to it? Well, I think this got a little dark here. I could maybe make that green there, some sort of lighter green right here. Where my, you know, kind of where my like was, and even a little bit lighter than that. This could be lighter. There we go. Just kind of indicate something's back here. There's like a landing place before the lake starts. Okay, so we have that. Now, while that's sitting, let me just show you. If you like fall paintings, I was very inspired doing this because of a painting I just did by a guy by the name of Homer Winslow, and he will be in our Academy release for our red members. And John's going to back it out, and we like this so well, we're just keeping it. And here it is. This is the On the Trail is the name of it, and this is also an interesting painting because he was a watercolor. So we did this with an absorbent ground background. And this is 12 by 16. And, yes. And again, different style. There's so many different ways to paint things. Okay. That's what I would tell you. Lots of different ways to paint. And it's like your own handwriting at some point. You know, Homer had his. Other people have theirs. I kind of developed mine, and you're going to develop yours too. All right. That's why you try all these different styles, and then you kind of figure out yours. But you don't try to figure out a style by just saying, I need a style. That's ridiculous. You know, that's not how it works. You get a style by trying all this stuff, and it's like learning handwriting. Everybody eventually writes enough where you have sort of your handwriting's recognizable, and that's what will happen automatically for you. It's not something you have to think about. So anyway, that's coming up in the Academy. And speaking of things that are happening right now, this our auction is going on right now. This is the yellow cactus flower, and these little 8x10s are just beautiful, framed. Here's another one that again 8x10.
I love that one.
And this is the the two pink
great
flowers.
In that frame.
Yeah, I mean these are just marvelous. These are frames we got from Jerry's Artorama, little wooden frames here. And anyway, I think it looks super. These bright colored fish, again, another one that goes in a frame like this. Look how perfect that looks in this picture. It's got a little varnish. I hope you don't have any glare on it. But
no, they don't.
You don't see the glare.
I have polarizers. Yeah,
John's got polarizers. You're not seeing the glare. So these are colorful fish, and this was actually an Academy lesson. And this is another one. Be fun, big or long or anything, but not an Academy lesson. This was on YouTube. This is a YouTube lesson. I'm done with all kinds of Posca pens and stuff. So if you haven't looked at that lesson, it's fine. What is the website auction, John?
gingercookauction.com, right on the screen.
Yeah. So, and I wanted to all our original these are original Ginger Cook paintings. We used to give a certificate of authenticity like that. We've now noticed that on our cruise, when we were into one of the high-end galleries there on the cruise some time ago, we noticed that they were going to the smaller certificates, and the reason being is they can then put it with the painting on the back. So we're doing that for our prints and also for our paintings, going with the smaller certificate.
And speaking of prints,
check this one out, you guys. For instance, this was one of our auction paintings. Yes and yes, right here, the yellow rose. Let me just move all this out of the way here. I can do all that. I'm empowered. So here's one of our auction pieces. And again, this was a YouTube lesson, Yellow Rose of Texas, right? YouTube lesson. And here is the print of that 8x10 print. And the reason
Around
that
there.
we're doing them that way is that you can go to any Hobby Lobby or any place and get a really cute frame for 8x10. So so the outside dimension is 8x10.
Well, that's 8.5 by. I'm not sure what that actual image is. That's 8.5 by 11, which is again a common size frame nowadays.
Yeah, I guess this is 8.5 by 11, and this is So anyway, so you look forward to start looking for what the prints will just be when we add them to our auction site. They'll be for sale, but we'll also be
Yeah, they'll
giving
just be
away
for
some
sale.
prints.
Yeah, we're going to have several different ones available for sale all the time, and we're just going to kind of promote them on the auction site, and they'll be eventually put on our regular site. And then we have another site we're working on. We're going to put our fine art gallery pieces that aren't auctioned. They're going to have a flat fee. This is what they are.
Yeah.
Our higher end ones.
So again, these are just and one of my favorite auction pieces is this one.
Oh, I love that.
The texture on this, I don't know if you can see it. This is all palette knife, and the texture on this this again different style of painting, but cabin in the fall.
Let me see.
Really nice.
That
I mean,
for 1 second.
people, when you can,
Hold on a second. I'm going to get the side view, and I think we get some of the texture that way.
Can you get the side view on it
Yeah,
and
look
see
at
how? I mean, there's just so much texture on this, and again, I think we had this on YouTube as a speed painting when I originally did it. First did it. John put some music to it. Nobody was that crazy about.
No, I don't think we ever made a lesson out of it.
No, we never made a lesson out of it. There's no lesson for this.
No. Nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
It's
So
a gorgeous
anyway,
painting though.
yeah, this is another one of our. If you like villages and towns and stuff, I love this. Inspired by one of our old EGs, and the layers of color in this. Can you zoom in on that, John? Because you wouldn't have any clue about the layers of color that are in this painting, maybe even from photograph. You can just see all the different colors that are in this painting.
Well, it's like all your paintings.
Well, that's true, but anyway, so just
I mean, look at the fish. I'm zoomed in on the fish. Let's take a little quick look at that little fishy right there. Look at all the colors on that guy.
Yeah, look at all the texture too. There's a little yellow here, little fish coming out.
I believe that's why we call you the queen of color.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this is kind of neat. So, and then just same with the, look at the purples in this with the blues on this cactus. Very nice because the colors on these are just some real thought when the light edge and all that stuff. So, all right, let's keep
back to our regular scheduled program.
Yeah, we've done that, right? So this has had a chance to sort of set up a little bit so we can keep going with the colors. And that's what you want to do with something like this, and is to keep going with the colors. And let's do some bright orange.
Keep building it up.
And I'm going to start tapping that. I love fall because it is one of the times of the year. I'm going to put a little yellow with that orange. It is one of the times of the year when you can really go all out with colors because nature does. And again, I want this to be. You guys know to flatten your brushes. You know about that when you do something like this. You've got to flatten the paint out like that, and then
all the time.
You got to then just get it up on the tip when you're doing it. Just because what happened was this brush sat in water, and so I don't want any water on this brush. So there we go. Let's try this again. Here we go. See, there was even a little water right there from that. There we go. And the lighter colors, come from. Open this yellow again. The lighter colors are on top. It's not a polka dotted quilt, and it's just I see people and they just start doing random dots, and you don't want to do that. There's lighter colors are on top. You keep building them up. Here we go. A little bit of lighter yellow here like that. Up into here. We're going to put lighter colors, kind of separating some of this out.
Hey, we'd like to thank Tammy for the donation. Did you know that the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in Rome, one of Michelangelo's finest works, was exhibited to the public for the first time on November 1st, 1512?
Wow, did not know that. What a good thing to know.
Tammy, thank you for sharing your wisdom and knowledge and your coin.
And you know, one of the interesting things about him was how he painted stuff and did sculptures. You know, he's famous for his sculptures, and you look at them, you just wonder how anybody could carve anything like that out of marble. It's extraordinary. But one of his tricks was he would do I don't know, trick, but skill level, how he was doing it was he would make a sculpture from, maybe 18, 20 inches high out of clay. And, and then fire that. And then he would put that in a square glass beaker of muddy water that was in proportion to the block of marble he had that was larger. And then he would lower the water and he would just carve what he could see peeking out of the water.
Cut away what you don't see.
Yeah, and so then he had that as an example of what he would do.
I'd like to also thank Renee. Thank you both for all you do for us. Thank you.
Wow, that's most appreciated. Thank you very, very much for that.
We had a question in regards to, what about the chapel? There isn't one, or steeple. There's not one on this particular church.
Nope, there isn't one. There's a cross here that someone could put or not put right there, but there's no steeple.
No actual steeple.
This is a Russian Orthodox church, I think.
Yep, we believe it's in Georgia.
That's what it said.
Russia.
That's what the reference photo said. It was in Georgia.
Are those paintings varnished with gloss or satin? High gloss. Most of the paintings I do are under high gloss, except some of the ODGs, I will use a matte.
To see how we're bringing out the colors here? Oh, I wonder what that is. Were you ordering anything?
Nope.
Well.
Halloween's over.
Yeah, we could.
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you. Now, this is my next coat of red. You remember reds need to be put on twice.
You got to build them up. Again, It's all about layers.
You say that a lot, and people must.
Well, I do. And the reason I say that, because when I started painting with you and I started looking at it, I go, well, why do I have to do all these layers? It's just it's the end result I'm trying to get to, and it isn't. You can't just put that top color on there because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
As a sock folder, I try to find that seemed illogical. Why am I putting all this paint on and then covering it over? Well, because all that paint underneath is still coming through. Because these aren't 100% opaque. And then where your brush doesn't actually cover, you have that coming through. There's a lot of, and if you really need to get an original Ginger Cook or even a print and really look close at some of her brush strokes, and she has like 15 colors that you just can't duplicate.
Yeah, because I don't clean my brush in between stuff, and so I'm mixing colors on as I go too.
Now, we did the Santa Claus that we did last night. We just finished that last night. I was watching her closely, and she would go one color after another, not even wipe it off, just scoop it up and plop it in there. And then the other color that was on the brush is being introduced as well.
Introducing a little green here.
And as a sock folder, this is very hard to do. As I would say, cleanliness is not next to godliness when it comes to Ginger Cook painting.
Yeah, I get going. I don't put caps back on anything because I'm in a hurry. And as my mind is reeling on what's next, I'm going a mile a minute.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Is Ginger signing and numbering the prints?
Yes. I don't know if are we numbering them? No, we're signing them. Because we don't know what the editions would be.
I guess on limited edition ones we will.
Limited editions, but these are just, some of these will be open editions.
Yeah.
We're still, for those of you who bought the prints from the second Bird Hop auction, we're still waiting to get those from, to sign to send back. It used to be 2 days to get anything from Pennsylvania to here, and I promise you, this is no longer the case. it is so annoying. Yeah, I get something a little lighter up here too. See, it is so annoying that you can't, and you can't get them, and it's crazy, you guys. I mean, it's like they defunded the post office or something, or I don't know what happened, or everybody quit, or there's no post office, or and actually a postal job is, you get pretty good retirement with a postal job. So it's actually a pretty good government job to have, and known people that have worked for the post office, and so I'm sorry they're having trouble getting people, but apparently they're having trouble getting people to work. Okay, so all right, so let's get back up into here into the burgundy colors, and let's do a little bit of dark up in here. Just coming back up in here. Now, what we're going to do here is pull the, I want to put a branch here and some branches. And I want to make sure I'm dark enough under these eaves right here with the with this, a little bit of burgundy and blue. There it goes. To make sure I got a little bit dark here, and it just, there we go. There, so just sometimes you have to bring stuff out a little bit more, maybe darken this up in here like that in the windows. Okay, so that looks better. And then I want to bring this roof peak up like that. And lighten this up a little bit too here, like that. Maybe just a little bit of purple right there. That's pretty. And suggest that this roof, that we're not going to talk about this side of the building. That's coming up in front of it. So it goes somewhere, but we don't know where. Now, we need a branch here. Yeah. How cool is that? We need to suggest a branch. So I've got a little bit of probably some dark. I think I found the purple. And I want to go using just my angle brush flattened.
What color are you using there?
Purple.
Your favorite go-to dark color?
Yeah. See how I'm changing the direction of the brush? I'm not trying to it's using the angle part of the brush as the there's a big twig right there, yeah. And there's just this one branch, but I think it's kind of nice. And it sticks up into here like that. There, got a little bit of a branch there, and we need some over here too. We need some branches in this area.
Why do you use matte varnish on the ODGs? Typically, it just gives it the old world look.
Want some branches, and that gives it a little bit of a there. See, just see how these branches push the building back and so forth, right? And let's see, again, you want your brush flattened when you're doing this. And you could use a Posca pen, I suppose, too, or one of those bigger pens. You need something thinner, but you have a brush like this, it will give you a very nice flat line. Okay.
Very thin line.
And then I want to come next to this one with a little bit of orange so that you see the branch.
So you do use matte varnish? Yes, occasionally.
But
What is ODG? ODG is old dead guys and gals.
Yeah, the art. We do a lot of those paintings from
The artists, the master
past.
artists of yesteryear.
Yeah, we do a lot of those. And okay, so let's get something.
The old masters.
Yeah, let's get some light dots of stuff. Bring some life in here again. Brighter the colors when you come forward. Okay. The brighter. These are just little dots.
Does Ginger always paint with the shoulder? Well, when she's doing little dabs like that, I don't think her shoulder's going up and down.
No, just my arm is doing. No, my arm is rested on the
Yeah, that requires just dabbing. But her bigger strokes are from the shoulder.
Yeah, just little tiny ones here. Okay.
Good question though.
Yeah, just but I'm not. Look how his fingers are very loose. The hand may be doing this, right? Like this, right?
Right.
Or I'm going from the
like
shoulder.
A chicken.
But these fingers are loose. I'm not gripping. I do not have a death grip on these.
Is it okay to use craft paint for underpainting? I would not personally.
Or house paint either.
I just don't trust the bonding. And since that is what you're relying your painting to hold together with, I would be hesitant.
I mean, years ago, I was doing a lot of artwork. I had an art agent selling a lot of artwork, and I had some canvas that you normally use for giclees, but I was out of canvas, and I thought, I'll just use it.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
Well, then we noticed that if it got wet, the painting didn't want to stick to the surface of the canvas if it got wet. And Cinnamon had made the comment that perhaps, because that was the case, right, that perhaps using that canvas may not have been the thing, may not be the thing to do. And I said, well, what are the odds of this picture getting wet? Nothing's going to get wet. I mean, people don't hold their paintings under the bathtub, which is true. So, see this next layer of bright colors, see that? What happened was it went down into a gallery and there was a big show and there was a flood.
So you rest your case.
And my little picture just kind of slid onto the carpet, right? Just kind of, I mean, it was something to see. I mean, it was just, and of course my agent was furious with me. I have to sell this, you blah, 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 my reputation, yada, yada, yada. I'm thinking, yeah, okay. So it wasn't a good idea. And Cinnamon actually is very psychic, and I should have just heard that, but I just
had to get the job done.
I didn't hear it well. So you guys hear me when I say that perhaps that isn't the best solution to do that.
The paints that we primarily use are Golden and Holbein.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Golden is U.S. made and Holbein is Japanese.
There's a few little branches we're typing in here like that. Some of the leaves are a little bit browner. Well, I think this is pretty close to being. Don't you think we're like finished with this? Now why does this look so wobbly here to me? That window looks so wobbly. You saw
it looks like it got pregnant on the one side.
I don't know what happened to it, but you know what? We don't care at this point. We're fixing it. This is acrylic paint, man.
We can fix anything.
We can fix anything. Don't you like the lake back here? Isn't that kind of neat?
Yeah, I looked at the original. It's not there, and I like what you did to it. I like it better with the lake.
Yeah, I just felt it needed a lake.
I think it did. Kendra, thank you very much, Kendra, for the donation that came in PayPal.
Yes, thank you very much. And we want to thank everybody that's gone to gingercookauction.com and bid on the paintings. We appreciate that very much.
So does our air conditioner bill.
Yeah, which
so much for new equipment.
Yeah,
shot down again.
Yeah, maybe next year. We'll see. But anyway, thank you very much for that. That was just marvelous. All right, let's see, how did that work? Not well. Why is that? Well, you know what? I know what it is. We're going to Plan B. You like Plan B?
I do like Plan B.
There's always a Plan B. Do you guys know that?
I
There's
think
always
Plan B is an excellent.
There's a plan. We have a Plan B. We have a
We're
Plan
empowered
B.
with Plan Bs.
We're empowered with Plan B.
What are Plan B? Oh, the old credit card trick.
Put a little brown, purple.
I like that.
Something. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing here. Let's see. We can use the barely touching this. What do you think? Now it got thin on this side. Gosh, there's just no end to this, is there? All right, this is fine. The thing about if you dry all along, right? If you always dry, there we go. Then when something doesn't go right, you can always just wipe it off and start again, right? So that I would say that would be the. And this was just an old key card, I think, from Royal Caribbean.
You've got 1,000 of them.
Yeah, I don't like that right there. So it just.
Can anyone else see the bust of John centered over the point of the top roof?
This?
Yeah, over that. I must be up there somewhere. Do you see it? I don't see it.
I don't see it.
That's kind of haunting.
I don't see it.
Is this the Trinity Church in Georgia? If it looks like it, it is.
Yeah, it said it was in Georgia somewhere out there. You know, having never been to Georgia, it's hard to know.
Well, we've been to our Georgia, not their Georgia.
Yeah.
But we've been to St. Petersburg, both of them. Ours and theirs.
Yeah, we have. Let's put a little of this color up in here. Okay.
Elizabeth, I believe it probably is, though.
Yeah. So you guys, that's sort of fun, right? Yes and yes. And let's see.
I think it's pretty.
Yeah, just again, your colors will have a tendency to dry a little darker sometimes. Doesn't hurt to just pop a few back like that. Occasionally you can do it.
Especially as compared to the photograph.
Well, you know what? Let's just show our photograph again. Here's our photograph, right? And I think there's our photograph again. There's our roof on our building. And I'm not real sure about this from the photograph what this is. So I think I'll just put this here and then
put some leaves over it, my dear.
I don't want to talk about this one. You know what?
Nope. That's what leaves are for.
Well, all right. So I think that's sort of fun. Don't you think that's fun? Wish I had that little green frame. So if you guys like this kind of painting and you like doing that, and the possibilities are just endless when you're painting. And you can, I see in the photograph, I can see it. You don't see it in mine, but on my computer, I can even see that there was just a little bit of the lighter clouds up here, just coming up this way. With it's got slight rose, almost magenta feel to it. This is the time of day here, so I can come back and add that just a little pink, and it's just soft, right?
Absolutely.
But you can just
do that.
Can come back and do that, and the sky just gets that much more interesting. Yeah, that absolutely that much more interesting. Maybe just break this up a little bit in here. There you go. You can always put the holes back if you lose your holes in the trees. Just don't make them solid. And there we have it.
There it is. It's
there
a wrap.
It is. That's a wrap, you guys. And see how dull and everything. The fall had gone way too long for this picture. See, so
sometimes you can't control when you get somewhere as a photographer, but as an artist.
Well, as an artist, you've got all kinds of control.
You're in complete control.
And
you can take buildings out and put lakes in instead.
Yeah, and it's so much better to have a lake there, isn't it? I mean, I'm just saying.
I think they're going to see this painting and they're going to say, man, we need to get rid of all that stuff behind us.
You know what I don't like is this line right here.
Where? Which line?
This one.
I was worrying about that line.
I don't like that line.
You know what you're going to do with that line?
It's going.
It's out of here.
It's out of here. And
It's out of
this
here.
is just because we've dried it, right?
Doesn't matter.
You know, if you
It's too dry. You're going to have to paint over it now.
well, you could use some rubbing alcohol to take it off. Did you know rubbing alcohol?
Yeah, but you got to be so careful with the thousands of layers that you have.
Well, that's true, but I'm just saying you could. So let's make this lighter here. There you go. So this lighter, bit lighter here. And let's just make it a little wider here like that. There you go. So there, that's better. I just did not like that line there. There needed to be a little tiny one, but you barely needed to see it. And put a little bit of color on that. There. Ha!
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 Ha ha ha.
Ha! All right. So here's the the next week we're going to be for next Monday we will have a drawing for a limited edition, not limited edition, but one of our prints. And so you want to follow the advice of when you make your comments. I guess the comment was
Is. It's
Is.
not was. It's an is.
Is it? It is.
It's going to be an is.
Oh, yeah, I can see it. Gosh,
Because you're
he's so
saying it
smart,
now.
isn't he? Yeah,
It's not like you have said it. Because we certainly haven't discussed it. I always find out things during the live show.
So remember, Santa's coming up. Santa's coming up in the Academy, so is that fall thing. We have a lot of fall paintings, and so I'm kind of curious if for those of you who are familiar with us, you have a favorite fall painting we've done. We've done a lot of them, and for those of you familiar with our work, if not, check us out at Acrylic Painting with gingercook.com. And even if you're not a member, you can still see the pictures, right, John?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
see some of the pictures that we're getting. This is so cool because we're getting the categories in now where it's by subject. I don't know if you even have fall up, do you?
I don't think so.
Then you'd have to go to Pinterest, Ginger Cook Live on Pinterest, and then go by subject under
Let's see
topic,
what
and
I've
then
got.
you can go to fall, and you can see all the fall paintings, whether they were on YouTube or whether they were in the Academy. It's a good place to look too, and to find some more information, inspiration too. And so anyway, thanks
Oh, see, that's
everybody
under
for
seasons.
helping us out tonight with the donations. We thank you very much, and use the contact us if you want to get in touch with us about anything.
Anything at all.
Yeah, and as I'm painting
Oh,
with
I
that,
knew it. I knew
I
it.
got a light in this roof here. It darkened up too much on me. There you go. See, if you let your paintings dry a little bit, because acrylics dry darker, then you really notice it. And please be aware that I did no birds
Or tractors.
or tractor. Well, there's no birds. That got a little brown there. So let's
You can't really put a bird in this one.
yeah, so there you go. So fix that mountain right there. So all's good, and we will see you next week. And I'll be reading your comments, and check out our auction, gingercookauction.com, and
Anything else?
happy Halloween for those of you who celebrated.
Well, it's over. So that's for next year? Should I save it up?
Well, that's the only. It's too early for Thanksgiving.
Well, that's probably more appropriate than Happy Thanksgiving. It's come and gone. I mean, they can't do anything about it. It's gone.
Say good night, John.
Good night, John.
Bye. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
See you next week.
Ginger Cook, the queen of color, with a blazing brush at the speed of light, and a blank canvas, and a hearty yes and yes. The queen of color, Ginger Cook, and her sidekick, John Little, teach you to paint with acrylics.